Have you been using those wet wipes I left at your house at all? Or?
So what that means is DJ came over for March Madness and he brings wet wipes. What I've learned is you probably just bring them wherever you go. And I actually went to clean the bathroom. And what came to my mind was, you know what? No one used any of those wet wipes because it looked like people just pooped on the floor.
I use those wet wipes so hard. The other question I have for you is, have you switched from boxers to briefs yet?
Another big topic of debate during March Madness. And no, I want to. I have intentions to. I'm thinking I'll probably get around to about 2023, 2024.
Once you make the change of both those things, your balls and butthole are going to thank you so hard.
Let's get loaded. Because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
I actually opened my beer before this, where we never finish first because we finish last.
Well done. DJ, I felt like at some point I'm like, I think you're going to, because he hardly ever like drive the intro. So I'm like, at some point he's going to want me to say, let's get loaded. Was that the correct spot that you actually wanted me to, or did I jump the gun there for you?
I was going to tell you to do it after the balls and butthole part, but I forgot to tell you that, but you nailed it.
Yeah, that was probably an important thing that you wanted to add for me.
Yeah, so it was good. You got it. It felt like the right, though. I knew it's all about feel. We hang around each other. We punch each other in the face, all that good stuff. So it's all good.
Yeah, speaking of that, DJ, before we get started here, maybe get a little bit closer to the screen and let the people know, like, other eye. There you go. Man, that's been a little while now. And why don't you just go ahead and tell the people what happens when you talk shit about Tua Tagovailoa?
I just wanted to look like Drew Brees and just a shot. It's just this is my honor. Like, what is it? It's what word I'm looking for. It's just
like an honor badge.
Yeah, I'm showing homage to Drew Brees by just leaving this on my eye. It's my Drew Brees mark.
I like it. I gave it to you. That's why I like it so much. We'll have to get into that at another time as well. But DJ, I love the idea that I'm just going to be able to put you on a spot here. So why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what in the hell we're doing today? It's damn near been 2 weeks since we've done a podcast episode.
Well, here's the deal. Ben wanted to do a live video yesterday where we just debated whether the Dolphins were going to take one guy or another. And it was just boring the fuck out of me. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, that bores me, blah, blah, blah.
It would have been the best video of your life.
Somebody bailed on us last night during the podcast. Some stupid shit happened. Apparently, he couldn't podcast it anyway, so I'm done with this guy forever. But we came up with another idea tonight. Let's just do that, but let's add a few more teams to it. So we're taking 5 teams, giving them 2 players that we would decide between, and then me and Ben are just picking a side. We're not going to take one side or the other purposely because we're not fucking, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp or whatever. We're just going to, this is all organic. We're just going to say who we'd like or who we'd take as the GM of that team, and then we're going to say why.
Yeah, exactly. Should we just jump right into it with we'll go right down the draft order with the 5 teams. The first team that we were going to debate here is number 3, San Francisco, because obviously while we were boozing during March Madness and taking 2 weeks apparently for a hangover trip away from podcasting, they made a huge trade with Miami, jumped up to number 3. Now there is just all sorts of debate on Twitter, everywhere you go, with who in the hell the San Francisco 49ers are targeting because of the fact they jumped up from 12 all the way to 3. I think we can both agree, obviously, it's going to be Trey Lance, number 1. Or not Trey. I'm sorry.
I'm not agreeing on any of this.
I lost my train of thought there. Number 1's Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, I think Number 2, I think we're all on the same page with Zach Wilson for the time being. So we're going to put this debate up between Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. DJ, thoughts? Who's your best fit? What's your pick? What are they going to do? Let's hear it.
There's been a lot of funny making fun of Mac Jones' body and movement on Twitter lately. And I think it's kind of funny. I think I saw our boy John Chapman put out there like a video of him just trying to walk on the field, and he looked like he was struggling, like just during his like pro day today. And he's like, if you guys think this guy's going number 3, obviously he's a Niners fan. He's like, we can't even talk. I actually agree with him. I think the way the league's going at this point, we want a quarterback that's more mobile. Mac Jones, but other teams want a quarterback that's more mobile. That's the way it's going. Not a Lamar Jackson type necessarily, but a guy who can move. And I just don't think you go up and get a guy who's looking like Tom Brady did when he was drafted. He's not Tom Brady. You're not going to find another one of those. He's not super mobile. He throws a good ball. He does throw a good ball. He's accurate. I would troll Ben a ton this year about the Dolphins took the wrong Alabama quarterback. Mac Jones was the guy to take.
That's why you got that black eye.
Yeah. So, I think just the way the NFL is going and it just common sense, Justin Fields has to be the guy I would take there at that 3 spot. I'm not going to judge the shorts and, fucking t-shirt throwing a football at all right now. Right. But just based off of, just based off the way the NFL is going, it's just an athletic quarterback can roll out, get out of the pocket, move, those type of deals. Justin Fields is the guy.
But what do you think about, here's the Kyle Shanahan factor. It's like, okay, he was in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta. He was working with Matt Ryan. He goes to he was in Washington. He's working with Kirk Cousins. He goes to San Francisco. There was tons of rumors and reports about how he wanted to bring Kirk Cousins to San Francisco. He goes to San Francisco and he ends up with a pocket passer in Jimmy Garoppolo. All of those guys. Dude, I'm on one today.
That's the glow in the dark version of Jimmy Garoppolo.
It's essentially what he is right now anyways. But he's basically had that pocket passer. And if you think about it, that's what Mac Jones is, especially compared to all these other guys. So just based on familiarity and just kind of repeating history, that's like the Kyle Shanahan kind of guy. So I'm trying to update my latest post free agency mock draft, get another one out here probably next week. And right now I have Mac Jones penciled into that spot, but I really want to do Justin Fields because there's also press conferences out there where they're asking Kyle Shanahan, is mobility important to you? And he always says, end of the day, you need to be able to make plays and pass from the pocket. However, with the way the NFL is evolving, yeah, sure, it's great to have a guy that can escape out, but he kind of brushes it off. So, man, what's the percentage here? If you wanted to give equal say to each one, they're doing a good job of just kind of bluffing and not really showing their hand. Gun to my head, if they're making a pick today, I really think it's Justin Fields. But man, that Mac Jones stuff is just, it's weird because honestly, do you think they felt that they really needed to jump up that high to get Mac Jones?
No, I feel like they thought they had to jump ahead of who's up there right now. Essentially the Eagles at that point, I think when they were there to get Mac,
right,
Justin Fields type player like before that. I don't think Matt Jones was the guy.
Right. So it's Jags, Jets, now the Niners. The Falcons were the 4 team who
the Falcons,
were play.
I suppose.
The Bengals obviously were out, and then the Eagles were 6.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious the Falcons are going to take a quarterback. I think we're all in agreement that the first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks at this point.
Right. Yep. That's how I feel as well. But yeah, I don't know. So do you give any hope to Trey Lance there, or is he kind of destined to be the 4th guy in your opinion?
Feels like he's a Falcon. I don't know. Everybody's putting him there. Roddy White's the only one who, on Twitter he's not this fucking Trey Lance isn't going to the Falcons. Shut up, Roddy White, dude. Go fucking sleep or something. I don't know. Roddy White's on Twitter.
Ooh, you're going hard there. You're coming hard there.
I don't know. Go retire. Roddy White doesn't exist to anybody anymore.
I like Roddy White. Do you want to you want to move on to the Dolphins, who I really wanted to just make an entire episode about yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
So I love this. It's so here's the deal. Once they moved from 12 back up to 6. First of all, hell of a Friday. I didn't sit for 2 hours just pacing. It came to my mind though. I'm like, all right, they've got 2 guys in mind at that pick of a potential of 4. So let me break that down. What I mean is you got Lawrence going 1, you've got Wilson going 2, you've got another quarterback going 3, you've got another quarterback going 4. If you think about the Bengals, the only team that stands in front of the Dolphins at that point are the Bengals. They are Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, potentially Kyle Pitts. So let's just say they take either Chase or Pitts. That leaves the Dolphins comfortable saying, okay, we are good with at least one of those guys. So that's why I think it's the debate here. There's potential that the Bengals take Penei Sewell. Dolphins have their pick between both.
Is that how
guys.
You say his name?
Yeah, I know. I'm really good at that Penei Sewell, man. I've been practicing for months. But that's why I'm saying it's literally between those 2 in my opinion, because if you're the Dolphins, once you trade it back to 12, I don't assume that you're going to trade back up to 6 with Penei Sewell potentially already being off the board if you're targeting offensive line. Like, that's just too much.
Right.
So they have 2 guys in mind, and what we're going to debate here is Jamar Chase versus Kyle Pitts. I'm going to actually let you go first as to what you think they're going to do or what you would do, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Well, I always say fuck tight ends, but in this case, in this case, well, I like that in 2 different, like that could be 2 different meanings right there. Like whatever. Yeah, whatever. Moving on. They've got Mike Gesicki right now, who they love, who they adore, who they threw the ball to every time they were inside the 10-yard line last year. I don't know how you just let Jamar Chase go at this position. I texted you today, the guy's a fucking freak. I don't get excited about 40s. I didn't think he was even that, like, as fast as what he showed. But if he adds that speed on top of every other skill set he has, he, to me, is far and away the number 1 wide receiver. I love Devontae Smith, but I just, you can't miss on Jamar Chase at this point.
Devontae, well, how about this? If you like Chase at that pick, if you're the Dolphins, are you hesitant to go with Chase over even a guy like Smith or Waddle, knowing that you've got Devontae Parker and you've got Preston Williams, who are not similar, like, all around to Jamar Chase, but they play in a similar style compared to Chase versus a guy like Smith or Waddle, who are just underneath, quick, fast, yards after the catch.
I see what you're saying, but if you're going to get a wide receiver, might as well take the best one in the draft. Like, why not take the best player there is?
Hard to argue.
Devontae Parker and Pat, whatever his name is, Preston Williams, they seem like not like low separation guys. Like, they don't get separation. They just make all these like crazy, like I've always said this, Devontae Parker just seems like a guy who makes more catches over the guy's head than anybody in the NFL. He's just never open. And that's why he likes it. He just likes to make catches that way. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase is going to break the game wide open. Like, with his speed, his route running, his just pure athleticism, he's going to be open. I have a feeling he's going to be like Andre Johnson, wherever he's going to be like every 3 weeks. He's just going to, I'm probably dating myself here, but I just remember, like, every 2 to 3 weeks, for some reason, Andre Johnson would just be wide fucking open on, like, the one end of the field, and nobody would be covering him. Right. I have a feeling he's going to be that type of guy. He's going to be able to run routes, and then just out of nowhere, he's going to bust just run straight by you when you're expecting him to run like a post or slant or something like that. I just don't see. I don't see how they don't go. I just don't see how they don't go Jamar Chase. I know people are like, Pitts can play tight end, receiver, all of that good stuff, but I think at that point you're setting up Tua for success. You've got a really good tight end on that team. Why not get the best wide receiver in the league, and you can let one of those other 2 guys just walk eventually?
Yeah, I will. Right. I'll play a little devil's advocate. So let's say Gesicki. Well, first of all, Mike Gesicki is technically in his last year, so there's a chance you let him walk. However, I think the pick for Pitts makes more sense if you also extend Gesicki. Like, they would gel well together, despite the fact that neither of them are labeled like a great inline blocker. I think the mismatches they can create when they're both on the field at the same time, that's the luxury of having a guy like Pitts added to that offense. So here's where I'm trying to go with this. If you pass on Chase, which I agree with you, like, how do you turn down that top flight receiver as a true sophomore? What, he scored 19, 20 touchdowns with Justin Jefferson on the team, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the team, with Terrace Marshall on the team. Just a monster. So how do you turn that down? I don't know. That would be tough for me. But with this class being so deep, with having the 18th overall pick, with having another pick at, like, I think it's like 37, if you go Kyle Pitts, people are just considering, it's a generational tight end talent. It might be the most gifted tight end we've seen enter the draft. If you take that player, maybe Bateman's there at 18. Maybe a guy like Rondale Moore is there in the second round. You have a lot of options potentially at that position yet, where you can still get 2 really good playmakers, and you're getting like the elite guy at tight end, and you're taking a receiver that's, he's not at Chase's level, but he's kind of hanging in a normal draft. He'd probably be a first-round talent. So there is that aspect of it. I
just think if you're an NFL GM, you don't think that way. You're like, who's the top guy on my board at this point? And Jamar Chase, to me, is ahead of Kyle Pitts. He's there. He's you said the word luxury. I was going to say luxury, but I don't ever want to say luxury for the Miami Dolphins because
it felt wrong. I'm not going to lie.
They don't have luxury to me because they're not like they're not a playoff Super Bowl team yet that they've shown. Like they had some really good defense. Their quarterback couldn't even play fucking every game. He couldn't play from the beginning to the end in 70% of the games he started. So
do you need another black guy? What's going on here?
Yeah. So it's like, honestly, they should probably take Mac Jones or Trey Lance. But I think it's dumb. You're overthinking it if you don't take Jamar Chase at that spot. I think you go and you look at the big board. You're like, I can't pass up on a sure thing. You're speculating with Rashad Bateman. You're hoping it is something. You know what Jamar Chase is. You can't pass up on that guy. And he's somebody who's there for fucking 10 years at this point. I know I love Kyle Pitts. He does have the ability to kind of play everywhere. I don't know how he is as a blocker personally, so I'm sure you already know he played for Florida.
Yeah, I mean he's average to above average. They didn't ask him to do it a lot, but when he did it fine. That's just kind of how it was.
I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a man crush on Jamar Chase too. The guy's a freak.
Oh, I can't say too much negative about that. What the weird turnoff for me about both these players is if you think about the Dolphins plugging holes. They need like a slot guy that can get open quick, create after the catch. You think about Tua in college. He was playing with Smith. He was playing with Waddle. He's playing with Judy. He's playing with Ruggs. All these guys, they're all a little bit different, but they kind of have that same mold. And none of them were the Parker, the Chase. They were guys that you spread them out, you get the ball out quick, you let them do their thing after the catch. Chase can be that guy. Like Chase has that ability. And that's the thing. Like Chase has that. But if you really wanted that in your offense, you would just take Smith or Waddle. So that's
Chase
where
it's where the fuck he wants, though.
And here's the deal too. Like I'm pretty sure Devontae Smith, this was his true senior year. I think Jamar Chase is 20 years old.
Jamar Chase is unbelievable.
This guy's only getting better.
I mean, you saw what Justin Jefferson did in his rookie year, and I think Jamar Chase is a bad wide receiver. I think that says enough right there.
Right. Yep. I'm totally on board. We hinted on Smith and Waddle already. Should we move on to the Eagles?
Sure.
So this one is a little bit strange to me because there is a great chance that the Eagles have no shot at either of these guys at picking at 12 anyways.
12.
However, there's a chance that one falls. There's a chance both falls. There's a chance they trade up and try to get one of these guys because I think we would all agree that Eagles have a lot of holes. You talk about the Dolphins having some holes. The Eagles have a lot of holes, and wide receiver is definitely one of them. So let's hypothetically say that either both are on the board at 12 or they're trading up for one of these guys. You got Devontae Smith. You got Jalen Waddle. They just took Jalen Reagor last year. They're going to roll with Jalen Hurts right now at quarterback. Who are you plugging into this situation?
God, this is such a weird one for me that we're putting this one. So if I have to take one of these two, if I'm the Eagles, like you said, they just got Jalen Reagor. They have so many needs in the secondary at this point to me. I have a guy like Pat Surtain there. Like I think that could eventually drop to them that they could take somebody like that. So I haven't done the mock yet, but I almost feel like that's probably the direction I'll go. What pick do the Cowboys have? Do you know? Just throw it out there.
The Cowboys are at 10 and the Broncos are at 9. Right now, those are two teams that are kind of slated like, hey, cornerback might be a thing.
Yeah,
but you also have you got Surtain, you got Farley, and now J.C. Horn is getting that kind of consideration as well. So there is 3, I don't want to call them elite cornerbacks, but cornerbacks that people are thinking could be top 15 picks.
Yeah. If I go one here, this one's really difficult for me.
And here's the deal too. Before you even answer, who was it? It was either the Eagles GM or owner, whoever it was, specifically like went out and said, "Hey, let's just not like build everything right now. Let's surround Jalen Hurts with talent and let's see if he's the guy. Because if he's not the guy, we're gonna have to do something."
It's so weird because people forget about Waddle and forget about how good he was, and I think we're just like kind of passing up because Smith had to like just kind of take over and do his thing. But there was an argument to be made before he got injured that Jalen Waddle was the best wide receiver on that team, and he wasn't a Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not in this class. Jamar Chase is it, but like he's not the Henry Ruggs type of guy. He was a great route runner. He could do everything Devontae did, and he also had that speed. So it's like really difficult. I don't know where they're going to rank him. So it's like what it's like a what have you done for me lately type of bias where everybody's just on Devontae
Right.
Smith and we're forgetting how talented Jalen Waddle was playing with. I don't even know why he played. Again, talk about that championship game. I still don't understand why he was out there limping around everywhere with a broken leg or whatever.
It's a terrible idea.
God, I don't know who I take in this spot because it's so difficult. But I think I have to go. I had to go Devontae Smith. Like to me, he's the number 2 guy on the board at this point. Again, I'm going with just straight power rankings here. I'm scared he's going to die. But the guy's so skilled and so talented and has this like seeky burst of speed with that long stride.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can do it all as well, except for get hit.
Well, I was listening to a podcast recently that was kind of breaking down these wide receivers, and it was Dolphins based because everyone kind of thinks the Dolphins are going to get one of these guys. And they were saying like, yeah, he weighs 170 pounds. He looks like you out there. Like he is tiny. But he plays strong. Like, he got hit. Yeah, well,
I'll run right through your fucking face.
Yeah, sure. He hurt his hand in the national championship, but that's not really like a size thing, obviously. That was just a freak accident. But he plays strong. Like, he doesn't get bodied by people all that much. He creates his own separation. He doesn't play like what you would imagine a 170-pound wide receiver. But at the same token, those good SEC cornerbacks are what you're going to be facing every single week in the NFL. Like those guys, and then once you get to the NFL too, you get taken to another level, especially at cornerback. Once you're in the system, you go through a couple of off seasons, you learn the nuances. That's a position that come year 3, year 4, you already get better at cornerback. So that's going to be a struggle for Smith, but it's tough because I think when I was doing my latest mock, I didn't get through the whole thing last night, but I believe at 11, I mocked Waddle, and at 12, I put Smith. So with that, I'm just going to stick to my guns and go with Smith. But assuming they're both on the board, man, think about just like the Eagles' offense in general. Who's your go-to guy? Probably at this point, Dallas Goedert, because I still think Zach Ertz is going to get moved. And then Jalen Reagor hasn't really proven what he's going to be yet. But man, Devontae Smith just kind of seems like that guy that you're probably going to line up inside more than anything, which kind of scares me because I think you're going to want to probably do the same thing with Reagor. But I do think he has the ability to. You're going to have to get creative, and that's what Doug Peterson's going to do. He's going to move Devontae Smith around if he gets a luxury to have a guy like that.
Who?
Oh my God! I just said Doug Peterson, didn't I? I'm off my game today. Yeah. That other guy that was, I forgot where he was even at right now. Thank you for calling me out, though. I deserve that. But you're going to have to get creative to find a way to get Devontae Smith open, especially in his rookie year. But if you're making me pick for that specific offense, who you're going to get, I think Smith can just do a little bit of everything, and that's what they're going to need. So I think I'm going to give the nod to Devontae Smith there.
You know what? I think we gloss over something, and I don't know why I keep ignoring this, but let's not forget the fact that Hope and Ham bitch slapped you so hard like a pimp that you had nothing to do but realize you were just being disrespected, and all you could do is swing. So let's not forget that. I put you into a spot where I embarrassed you so bad in front of so many people with just a pimp slap. All you could do is come back with a fist. So I wish that would have been on videotape because I powered up and I just slapped it. Just a bitch slap across the face. I think that's just a power move.
I wish it was on videotape too, because then no one would be able to watch it because no one has a VHS player in this world.
Yeah, no,
I think that's your show or your way of telling me to move on to the Arizona Cardinals.
It's a power move. It's a power move. That's all it was. I power moved you, and you had nothing to do but swing. Well, I could only respect it. We hugged afterwards.
There should have been videotape.
Videotape.
Number 16 overall, Arizona Cardinals. Let's play the hypothetical game here. They lost Kenyon Drake. He went to the Raiders. Still have Chase Edmonds. They say a lot of nice things about him, but there's a lot of people out there that don't think he can be like the workhorse back. And if you think about the Cardinals right now, they are just going all in on offense. Think about all the receivers that they've been able to bring in the last couple of years. Think about surrounding Kyler Murray just with more weapons, especially out of the backfield. They took Isaiah Simmons in the first round last year. And now you're just like, well, we're literally smack dab in the middle of the first round. We have our choice between the 2 best running backs in this class. You got Travis Etienne, Najee Harris. DJ, Cardinals are on the clock. They're both there. They go running back. Which one are they taking?
Gotta go Najee Harris here. They got Chase Edmonds in that spot. They're two similar type of running backs. I obviously I don't really like ETN that much. I've got him at as low as 3. Not a huge fan of him. I don't know. I don't think he brings like that every down not every down back, but you're not going to see him on the field just constantly. I just don't think he's going to be that Nick Chubb, like I said, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris type of back where they can run it and catch it. I just think he has a specific niche. Yeah, he can run the ball, but it's different life in the NFL. And with Chase Edmonds already there, when there's similar backs, I think Chase Edmonds is really talented, and they can continue to use them in the role that they were with Kenyon Drake, and just plug Najee Harris in to be a better running back that takes that position. So I just think they want Travis Etienne is like a guy you want to be able to extend his life and not have him every down, because if he takes that pounding, it's going to shorten his lifespan. I think Najee Harris can take that pounding, and they have the guy and Chase Edmonds.
Sound like he's going to die.
Yeah,
lifespan.
They have a guy in Chase Edmonds who already fills that role that Etienne would fill as kind of a split back in that position. So I don't know. I just think Najee Harris is the better running back. I have him as my number 2 running back. I know it's not controversial. It's not a hot take. I really just off of tape. I love Javonte Williams.
Right.
I'm always going to take the guy that I think is higher on the big boards if I'm the GM, and Najee Harris is that guy. I mean, he jumped over somebody and just kept going.
That's what he does, man. Think about it this way too. Like, this is the one thing, and I agree with everything you said, but do the Cardinals seem like a team that is going to turn and hand the ball off to a workhorse type of guy like Najee Harris?
I think they have to.
Like 15. See, I think they do too, but then I think of 2 words, Cliff Kingsbury, and I don't think it's in his blood to have the ability to even do that. So it scares me a little bit because I think Najee Harris is that kind of, I mean, the easy comp is Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry's the type of running back that gets better as the game goes on. If you feed him early, he gets rolling, you wear down the defense, he gets into a zone. But like the Cardinals, just watching the Cardinals, they just don't seem like that team. That's why it's almost like if this was the debate and if they're set on a running back, it's almost like, man, do they just take ETN just to give him a little bit more of like a flair?
No, I just don't think so.
And I agree with you. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate.
They have to learn that they have to keep the ball out. Like Murray, when he starts to throw it too much, he starts to make mistakes, and that's when I sit there and make fun of him. He makes bad decisions, and I love it. And I think they realize they have to have a guy they can hand the ball off to if they have to 20 times a game. Like the best coaches in the world, like Belichick, would strategize like, hey, I'm not letting Tom Brady throw this game. I'm going to run this ball literally 40 fucking times. And that's what I'm going to do against this defense. And I think you have to be able to adjust to who you're playing, not just do what you do best. The best coaches play the opponent, not just what they do.
Well, Belichick's the perfect example. Like it's a new game plan every damn week. Remember when what was it? Burkhead, James White, Sony Michel. Like Sony Michel would score 3 touchdowns with 114 yards one week. He gets 3 carries the next week. Like that's like a total Belichick move. I don't know if Kingsbury has that in his blood. Like I said, I don't know if he possesses that. But they could do the thing with Najee Harris because, once again, I'm a broken record on this. I think the dude is just as good as a pass catcher as Travis Etienne. They could kind of platoon him and Chase Edmonds and get him involved in the passing game as well, extend that shelf life, not his lifespan, his shelf life as an NFL player. I don't think we're going to try to kill him on the field here. But I think that's a way to get your max out of him, not ease him in as a rookie, but just like kind of just introduce him to the game and not have to turn around and hand it to him 20 times. But at the same time, if things fall apart, if you need to play a clock control game, Harris is your guy over ETN. So I'm with you. Like I would 100% be on board with Najee Harris. I'm selfishly wanting them to not do that because I want the Dolphins to take him at 18 though.
You mentioned comparing them. I've been wanting to come back to this, but you said, the easy comp is Derrick Henry. And I just think that's a lazy comparison because I actually think Najee Harris is way better between the tackles. If you watch Derrick Henry and the way they run him, they run him wide. And that's when he's the best because he takes the engines, because he's so big, take a little while. He's a horse, like he's a Clydesdale. So it takes him a little bit to get going, but once he gets going, you're not stopping this guy. And that's why you run this guy wide, like outside the tackles. And that's when he's most effective. That's when he's stiff arming guys. Najee Harris is much better in between the tackles than Derrick Henry. Everybody thinks Derrick Henry is like this in between the tackles runner. That's what, no, I think that's his weakest part of his game.
He does it all, but yeah, going. You're right. He has to get it. Once he gets it going, like you said, it's not necessarily like a toss sweep, but it's almost like
when he's running his best, they're running. Yeah, they're running outside like zone type of runs around the tackle so he can just get going. That's when he becomes dangerous.
I can't hate that. So we're both on the Najee train there for the Cardinals. God, I think it's a funny fit. I literally do not picture him in a Cardinals uniform, but man, that's, in my opinion, that's the first team, if there's not a trade, that's the first team that's really in the market in the draft for a running back.
You still need an offensive lineman, I think, or two.
Probably, most likely. Let's go on to the final one. So the Green Bay Packers are picking number 29. When you brought up the idea of having the debate between Rondale Moore and Terrace Marshall, I loved it. And then 1 second later, I said the Green Bay Packers won't take a wide receiver in the first round. Come on.
So I thought this as well, right? I've been thinking about this a lot. And
very a lot.
Yeah, I changed it. That's why I restated the sentence. I've been thinking about this a lot and very intently and deeply. And I've been dreaming about it, laying in bed, thinking about like, who are they going to take? What are they doing? The big talk around Green Bay is that they didn't extend Rodgers this year. It actually makes more sense for them to do it next year. I don't know. I just saw beat writers do that. Apparently it makes more sense for them to extend on contract through 2023, I believe. So we still have technically 2 more years with him. So it does make more sense with the salary cap and all of that stuff going up at some point next year, or major, to extend him next year. So I know there's a lot of stuff around that, this press conference, or Mark Murphy's press conference, when they were literally, the press conference was to talk about the 17-game schedule. So people are freaking out about a conference that wasn't around players, that was around the schedule. It's like, relax.
You want to just know what's going on with the quarterback, though. No one cares about the extra game.
But here's what I know. And for non-Packer fans, you don't see everything. You do know, if you're anybody who pays attention to football, they've re-signed Aaron Jones. They extended Aaron Jones. They paid him money. They brought back everybody possible. They brought back the same team. They brought back Preston Smith. They brought back even Kevin King. I'm just trying to think right now off the top of my head. They tried to keep the entire core intact.
They got Aaron Jones back.
Yeah. I said that right away. They've never done that before. Like, they've never done this. And to me, it's a Mercedes Lewis. Like, people are like, why bring back Mercedes Lewis? He's a fucking best right tackle in the league. Like, he give you this. He doesn't need to play
right tackle. Yeah.
I've watched him block guys on his own on the right side of the line. Okay.
Right.
So he's helping that running game. So they're bringing that core together. You talk about Aaron Rodgers' press conference at the end of the season, worried about guys being gone. All those guys are back besides, his backup quarterback. Obviously it's Jordan Love, but Tim Doyle, I believe is his name. I have a feeling they'll probably just put him on the practice squad just to make Aaron Rodgers happy. But what they're doing is trying to make Aaron Rodgers happy. So when you talk about them not taking a wide receiver in the first round, I typically agree. They disappointed me last year, but right now it just seems like let's do what we think will make Aaron Rodgers happy and give us the best chance to win the Super Bowl. And that's grabbing a wide receiver in that first round. Rondale Moore was a guy who, couldn't stay on the field this last year. We didn't get to see the freak athleticism as much as we did, but we saw his 40, his vertical. The guy he is an athletic freak. Terrace Marshall, again, is like that third guy in that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson wide receiver core at LSU.
He ran like a sub 4.4 as well, though.
Yeah.
Just at his pro day.
I personally think they're going to take a chance at Rondale Moore because of they run a lot of that. They're trying to run more of that motion jet sweep action to move eyes. And they were just putting guys in there that were no threat, like Tyler Ervin. Who the fuck did they sign him?
Tavon Austin.
Yeah, Tavon Austin. That weren't a threat. They were just there to divert your attention.
Right.
They want to put a guy there that is a threat, that can run across, that's going to end up running across the middle, be that Robert Woods guy, be the slot wide receiver when they have to run the 4-minute, 2-minute offense with the shotgun offense, because Aaron Rodgers can literally run every offense. I think they take that chance and get that slot guy that can be a reliable big target guy when everybody's paying attention to Devontae Adams. I am leading Rondale Moore right now, even though I like Terrace Marshall more as a wide receiver, but I think for the fit in the Packers offense, I think they're going to go with Rondale Moore.
And I don't disagree with the idea that they could potentially go wide receiver in round one. I mean, think back to the trade deadline last year. What was the big rumor? Will Fuller to Green Bay. And there was a rumor, that they floated out like a 4th round draft pick or something.
Yeah.
But that ended up being just to see if they dive for it. Why? Because he got suspended.
He didn't play the rest of the year. That was the whole point of getting him, was for the rest of the season. It was going to be a 1-year contract.
That's true. Well, one man's trash, I get him now. So I wouldn't rule out the idea that they're obviously trying to add to the position. The weird thing, not necessarily weird, but what I would question is, if you're trying to win now, if you're doing it for Rodgers, if you're truly building around him, does a rookie wide receiver fit that description? Or if you were really trying to do it now, wouldn't they have tried to get a veteran receiver?
They don't have the money.
That is true. And we have seen it. So I was almost going to argue myself there, because it's like, can a rookie wide receiver fill in there? Can he make an impact from day one? On your average team, no, maybe. With Aaron Rodgers, yeah,
absolutely.
Probably. Absolutely. So that's where I kind of get that. And so what's the core right now? Adams is your clear number 1, your clear number 2, your clear number 3. Adams is your guy.
Yeah, and MVS just, he'll break one open or drop it wide open.
Exactly. So
he's not trustworthy.
That slot guy is what they need. And we're looking at Rondale.
I think they need just speed across the middle, because they're running a lot of that Niners, and getting that guy who's running across the middle of speed, busting through holes, I think is somebody you want to get the ball to and let him do his thing. Right. What did Rondale Moore measure in at? 5'7", 5'8"? This dude is tiny. He's very small. I love it.
He hasn't been himself since his freshman year. But Jesus, if his freshman year would have been his junior or his senior year, we'd be talking about this guy as a surefire first-round pick.
Could you imagine picking between Rondale Moore and Aaron Jones on running across the field and who they're going to get the ball to, and having to pay attention to Moore? And then if they start getting the ball and he's busting off big runs, and then the way Aaron Rodgers is a wizard in the play action game, there's nobody better in the play action game than Aaron Rodgers. Right. Not knowing who he's getting the ball to, having to pay attention to Rondale Moore going across, and then him just still having it, and fucking MVS or Devontae running down the field. That's a dream. Yeah.
The weird thing is, so this particular debate, Rondale Moore, Terrace Marshall, I honestly think short term, if we're trying to win right now, it's Rondale Moore. Long term, if you're going to tell me that this is Aaron Rodgers' last season in Green Bay and we're moving on to Jordan Love, then I would say Terrace Marshall. But at the same time, you're still all in on this year. You're still all in. And if you want a guy that come playoff time, that's going to be a game breaker, a mismatch guy, a guy that can take that 7-yard slant route and then house it, man, it'd be hard to turn my back on Rondale Moore if you truly want to surround Rodgers with the dude. Yeah,
I just think there's so many things they can use Rondale Moore for. I do love Terrace Marshall, and he would be very talented in Green Bay as well. He's fucking good. He's really good. I just think they want a little bit of a different type of wide receiver right now. That's what I personally believe.
Clay, I'm just gonna say, I watch a good amount of Packers games, but tell me if I'm just totally off base here. Would it be possible for the Packers to be able to line up Adams on the outside, MVS on the outside, a guy like Terrace Marshall in the slot or on the outside, and then if you were to put, let's just say, AJ Dillon in the backfield, can Aaron Jones kind of line up in the slot and run a lot of those routes? And I think utilize that guy that way.
That's part of the plan with Aaron Jones I think they're going to use AJ Dillon a lot, like 75%, 100% more than they did last year. Yeah. So double what they did last year, and move Aaron Jones around to play wide receiver, run the ball, come back, maybe be that jet sweep guy and have a Terrace Marshall on that. But Aaron Jones is going to get, AJ Dillon's going to get a shit ton more carries. I mark my words on this. I don't want him to. I just think Aaron Jones needs to have the ball, but they want to use him as a weapon more than just a running back. he's going to be their starting running back. When it comes down to it, when it comes to clutch moments, he's going to be the guy in the backfield. Yep. But they want to use him as a weapon, so they're going to move him kind of all over the place like they do with Devontae. I mean, you'll see Devontae in the backfield, in the slot, on the outside, all of that stuff. So there's good points to both because they can move Devontae in the slot all the time, and Marshall could be outside if he wanted to. And
yeah, I don't remember what week it was, but like when Adams had some injury concerns, I could have swore it felt like they were moving guys like Aaron Jones, like Jamal Williams, Tyler Ervin. Like they were moving those kind of guys out wide.
Jones did that all year though.
Yeah, but versus next man up at wide receiver. Yeah. No, it was let's just plug in one of our better running backs.
That's one thing I love the most about the Packers. I talked to you about this before with their offensive line. If somebody goes down, they don't have this philosophy. And I think this is one thing they're smarter. Like I talk about Belichick with playing the team. I think that they're smarter than at the rest of the league. When an offensive lineman goes down, they don't put his backup in. They put the next best offensive lineman in and shift the whole offensive line and make that work. And they continue to be one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They do that kind of at every position. Or if a guy goes out, all right, let's just move Aaron Jones out here, put Jamal in the backfield or whatever. Obviously, he doesn't exist anymore. In this case, AJ Dillon. I think more teams need to do that. I really do. I don't know why they don't, because it works really well for Green Bay. It just makes an incredible amount of sense. If he's talented in the offensive line, put him in.
Right. I think it probably depends on a lot of team schemes. A lot of them will man up. A lot of them will do a zone scheme. A lot of them are just running the ball from shotgun more. So it probably depends on your team and your philosophy. But for the Packers, man, it seems to work like a charm. Every year they turn out like a new great offensive lineman. Like David Bakhtiari.
Elton Jenkins played every single position on the line last year.
Corey Linsley ended up being the NFL's best center. You turned Billy Turnstile into a legit starting.
No, he still kind of sucked though.
But everyone around him makes it seem like he's that much better.
It does. It's weird. They plug these people in, an offensive lineman, and then all of a sudden they're just good again. Like Ricky Wagner was good when he came in. I didn't understand. They just become better. It's weird.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. DJ, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that, or can I talk about caddy swag real quick?
Let's caddy swag it up, bro.
Ooh,
I'm golfing Saturday too. I'm golfing Saturday, so I might need this.
Yeah, it's golf season, and as I think I put in the tweet, it's beers on the course season. So we are running a promotion through our friends over at Caddy Swag. So if you're not familiar with Caddy Swag, they were actually on Shark Tank. It's a very sleek 6-pack for your beer, obviously, that you sneak into your bag, because we're all cool with maybe we get to the clubhouse, we buy a double screwdriver, and then bam, I want to have my own beers. So you fill that puppy up, you put it in that long pocket along the side of your golf bag, and bam, it's an iceless cooler. Friends over at Caddy Swag have decided to donate one of those to us, and we're going to give it away to one of our followers. So check out Loaded Box on Twitter. We will continually retweet the tweet that we put out. That's basically gives all the I said that right, DJ. Don't look at me like that. That gives out all the instructions for how you get qualified for that. But bonus entries for those who can prove that they are subscribed to the Loaded Box podcast, either on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, whatever however you consume our podcast. But definitely get signed up for that. We're going to be giving that away with our NFL draft recap episode. So you've got about a month, but don't wait now. Just go ahead, get subscribed, get entered to win that. DJ, so you're golfing this week, and it's supposed to be a great weekend here in Wisconsin. Other than that, do you have anything else you'd like to add to our podcast? Our first one in like fucking 14 days. Man, you asked me if I was going to remember how to do all this.
Yeah.
Based on how it started, no is my answer.
We're just in a bad mood all day. I was just saw this name. How like names kind of go through ages. You kind of know somebody's age by their name. Yep. Like right now, it's like if there's like a Colton, he's like 15 or something like that, or like someone like that. Like the name Mildred, they're like 942 years old. We should just I think if I have a girl, I'm gonna name it like one of the old, like Martha or a Mildred or something like that. Fucking some old name. Let's bring back old names again.
Are you trying to tell me that your wife's expecting?
No, not at all. Not at all. Have you watched?
You couldn't have denied that faster.
Have you watched? I don't know why I'm thinking about this. Have you watched Bridgerton?
Never heard of it.
It's on Netflix. You'd hate it.
Hey, great recommendation.
You'd hate it. It's like a rom-com, but I really got into it. It's so weird. So it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. It's supposed to be like based in like, I don't know, 1800s, but they play modern music in like the like orchestra. Like there was Ariana Grande 7 Rings in it. So it's like, and it's like black and white people, so they're all equal, but it's supposed to be like 1700s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a modern version of Old Day. It's really kind of cool, but it's like a rom. I don't know. I just thinking about old names in this show, and I've been watching it recently.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a show. It's like just one season. I think it's only, maybe there's another season, but there's only one season on Netflix right now.
You claimed to speak for me and say that I wouldn't be interested. I'm oddly interested based on that really weird description. I think you probably did it fine. I just think it's a really weird show. I'm kind of intrigued. I might check out episode 1. What's it called?
I was shocked that I would like it. I thought I would fucking hate it. It's called Bridgerton. It's also dramatic. It's kind of got a lot of drama on it. And I love drama. I stir up all the drama at March Madness. I'm in the center of everything happening. So that's my shit.
Oh, excellent. Well, hell of a review, DJ. We have to add that to the podcast.
Yeah, I'd give it a fucking 8.3 out of 10.
Fair enough. I'll check it out tonight.
Yeah, good luck.
Speaking of checking us out,
you won't get through 5 minutes of it.
No, I am. I was talking about this with someone recently. Like my ADHD is so bad. I told her, like, I used you as an example. Uh-oh. Did I say her?
You said I told her. You didn't say who. You said I told her.
I told him. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. That's my side piece. No, I said like my we were talking about like attention spans and like
we still don't know who you're talking about.
That's fine. That's okay. Good. We got to leave that out.
Perfect.
That was a work meeting. We were talking about attention spans, and I said, yeah, I literally have a friend, I was referring to you, who will send me a Snapchat, and it'll be like of him with his phone, and he'll be like, so today, and I'm like, if you don't have my attention in one more second, boom, I'm clicking the thing and I'm over. So every time when you would
the last time I sent a Snapchat with me talking,
you stopped because I yelled at you.
No, that doesn't stop me from doing anything. I just get bored. If you watched them, you'd probably love them, though.
Get my attention right away. I can go woo or something. Do something crazy.
Done. That's how I start my next Snapchat. Then
I hope I didn't like kill people's ears.
It's weird. You're such a hypocrite about that too, because you're like the most boring person on earth, and then you're trying to fucking discriminate against people being boring and catching your attention in 10 seconds.
I killed a mouse yesterday. You call me boring?
Should kill all those fucking deer outside your house.
That's the next step.
God, those things scared the I was already hungover, and then the next thing I know, 17 deer are surrounding me at once. That can't happen.
Recently, I've been going out. I don't want them in the yard. I've been going out there, and like I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm setting the tone. Like I'm just telling them, like I'm strictly like sternly.
You should just start chasing them.
The house. So like it's been working. Like it worked for the longest time. Like they would leave as soon as I would say, "You leave."
That's because they're deer and they're scared. And
well, here's the deal. So I'm like the old man telling them to get off my yard. Now when I go out there, I'm like, hey, that was your warning. They just look at me.
What you need to do is go out there with like a big ass rock and just peg one in the head. And just that's how you do it. Yeah, oh fuck yeah, you can shoot deer and kill them. Why can't you peg one in the head with a rock?
That was DJ Primo saying you're gonna throw a rock at a deer, not Ben Morgan.
Just give him a little like warning, just a nice. I know you can hit him because you do weird shit like that. One headshot. My dog got kicked by the neighbor on her swing one time because he was like barking at her. Never gone over there since. She didn't kick him on purpose. Jacked him in the face because it was his own fault because he ran up under her. Anytime she's out there, he doesn't even go near. One smack on the face for one of those deers, never coming back.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'll consider it.
One hit.
Fair enough. Anything else you'd like to add, DJ?
No, I don't even know where I went. Martha.
I don't know where we were. Like I said, Twitter at LoadedBox. Get registered for that Caddy Swag giveaway. Our website, loadedboxpodcast.com. We've got our NFL mock drafts. We've got our Dynasty mock drafts. We've got Dynasty rookie rankings. All of our articles, blogs, NFL draft player profiles, they're all there. Next episode, we're hoping that both myself and DJ have our latest mock drafts completed. DJ's shaking his head.
I will. I'll do it this weekend.
He doubts himself. Yeah, right. You're going to go golfing this weekend. That means you're going to be grilling.
I'll do it tomorrow night. I'll do at least 20 picks tomorrow night.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to hopefully have a guest on to break those down. We're available everywhere you listen to a podcast. Subscribe, rate, review. DJ, send us out.
Bye.